we don't know about this because we're not told, but I think these light-starved environments, and the symptoms actually are very like scurvy. I mean, scurvy was the absence of vitamin C. This, what I call this 21st century scurvy, it has symptoms which are very similar to vitamin C. The symptoms develop over timescales of months and years, not immediately. But all the diseases of aging are determined essentially by the mitochondrial function. And when you
Yeah.
destroy or slow the mitochondrial function, you increase the rate of aging and you reduce the metabolic efficiency of the life form.
Hmm.
So, our view is that this is, there are many causes of obesity and type 2 diabetes, and junk food being not the least of them. But I think a primary cause of this is the light environment.
Hmm. Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is a major contributor to mitochondrial dysfunction, which is going to underlie all kinds of things from metabolic
Mm.
diseases to aging itself,
Yeah.
is an artificial light environment with a lot of emphasis on a lack of sufficient near infrared light, which the whole planet is naturally enriched in, that
Yes.
we are now depriving ourselves of. And that's because this is giving us a less efficient energy metabolism.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Except I wouldn't say we're doing it just to exclude non-visible light. We're choosing this lighting for high efficiency,
Right, right.
high energy efficiency to make visible light. And the point we've missed is that you need more than visible
Yes,
light
yes.
to thrive.
Yeah.
So
If you,
you're saving energy, but you're
right.
developing huge health costs
Right, right,
in
right. Because people think, people are thinking of light only as visible light to see with, and therefore, if you have, an incandescent light bulb or something, it's going to drive up your costs because you're producing all of this quote unquote wasted light that
yeah,
you can't see. But in
yeah,
fact, it's not wasted light because it's being used for things besides vision.
exactly. And I use them all the time. This is a 60-watt tungsten filament lamp
Yeah.
run at slightly lower voltage. You don't need it to run at full voltage because you don't need to generate lots of visible light. I have
Mhm.
LEDs on the other side to give me visible light, but
Mm,
this gives me healthy light,
I
and it
see.
gives me quite a lot of visible light as well. But it's so easy to do, but this is of enormous value.
I
It
see.
has
So
enormous.
you can run a light like that will give you that near infrared light, and you can do it at a lower voltage
Yes,
to save on your energy costs, but then still get that near infrared light.
I can hold this.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
holding this in my
Oh
hand. You
wow.
couldn't do that with a full voltage infrared lamp,
Yeah.
tungsten filament lamp. So the point is, to get over the regulation. I mean, it's going to be illegal and it is illegal in the US to use tungsten filament light bulbs now, isn't it? It'll become doubly illegal next year when you have this new regulation, which requires a certain number of lumens per watt.
Hmm.
Um,
So you are using that light in your home.
yeah.
If you can't do that, would you just emphasize getting outdoors as much as possible?
Well, first of all, I would emphasize getting outdoors. I think getting
Yeah.
outdoors is absolutely crucial. And what we're saying, and all the experiments we're doing with infrared light, is based on brightnesses that are not significantly more than the brightness you'd get at the sun from
Yeah.
the sun at that wavelength. So the experiments we're doing, I think, are safe because we're not doing anything more than the sun would do.
Mhm, mhm.
So we're not using lasers. I wouldn't ever use lasers for this kind of purpose because they can do all kinds of damage to do with their coherence rather than their
Yeah.
wavelength.
Yeah. And so much of what we've talked about ties into mitochondrial health and metabolism.
Mm.
One of the things that struck me in the new paper that you wrote that I didn't know about before
Mm.
is that apparently the outer retina contains more mitochondria than any tissue in our body.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What can you start to tell us about the modern light environment and the health of our eyes, given how we've messed up our light environment and now we're exposing our eyes to a very different pattern of wavelengths
Mm.
than we've adapted to as a species.
Well, first of all, I mean, I learned all this stuff from Glenn Jeffrey when I first worked with him, and I mean, he coached me, and he said, in the cones in your eye, it takes huge amounts of energy to once you've detected a photon, in order to reload that cone cell, you need a very high input of energy. It's like loading a crossbow, okay? And when you detect the photon, you're hiring the crossbow and sending the crossbow into the nerve system to send a signal to the brain. But
Hmm.
the cells in the retinal cells in your eye are far richer in mitochondria than any other cells in your body. And also they use energy all the time for reloading themselves, even in dim lighting. So they're very demanding of well operating mitochondria. And so, the eye is a sensitive metric of failing mitochondrial function. And this was driving the work on early stage macular degeneration, where you could slow the macular degeneration as long as it hadn't progressed too far. You could
Hmm.
slow it by shining this infrared light, or red or infrared light, into the eyes. This infrared light will get into your eyes without going through the pupil, of course. It'll shine in sideways. It's the
Hmm.
reason we can't see in the infrared. We couldn't build an eye. We
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
build
I get
an
it.
eye
Huh.
which was opaque enough to make
Yeah,
a camera because it gets in through the eyeball, no trouble at
yeah,
all.
yeah.